Alright, how's it going, you guys? I hope you're doing well. Today we'll be checking out a Ice Might DPS loadout, so let's just get right into it. So for our arts, we have Transformation and Strategist card, maxed out. These are the only two artifacts I got maxed out. You do not need maxed out artifacts for this build to be pretty effective in the content. We also have Omega Totality, Candle Neuron, Scrap of Soul Cloak, and right now my mind's looking at 632,000. Not the best, not the worst, right in the middle, but again, you're still going to be getting some really good damage out of these builds. Combat Ally, have whatever you like for AoE. I have Superman. I like Superman. And I have Batman for his might bonuses and Starfire for the might bonuses when I activate weapon buff. So that is pretty nice. Let's get into the loadout. So, I tried to not have a lot of iconics, just so that this build is more accessible to everyone. Soul Signature and Omega Beams are from arts, so everybody has access to it once they level up the artifact to level 80. The only one I used was Magma Vortex. It's not entirely necessary. I just enjoy it because it draws all the enemies in and it gets a little bit of fire dot damage. If you need a replacement for it, I would go with this one. Ice Boulder Strike. It's real simple, doesn't cost a whole lot of power, and it inflicts extra frostbite. Or it interacts with frostbite, excuse me. So, for our abilities here, we have Wintry Tempest and Ice Bash. We're going to clip these two together. So as soon as you do Wintry Tempest, clip it with Ice Bash. And we have Soul Signature and Reflection. Clip these two together as well. We'll have Avalanche and Freeze Breath. We're going to be using most of Freeze Breath. We're going to cut it off at the very end with our weapon ability. And we'll switch to our second tray. Magma Vortex into Frost Blast into Snowball. And then finally into Omega Beams. If your Omega Beams aren't maxed out by the time you get to Snowball, just throw it a few more times, wait till it gets maxed out, then use Omega. All right, so let's take a look at the numbers. You guys get the idea. All right. So, as you can see, numbers were consistently pretty high there. It dipped into the 900s or 9 millions there for a little bit, but consistently, for the most part, stayed in the 11 millions, 13 millions. Not bad. Very, very good. Now, most people are going to tell you that's not where Ice shines, though. Most people are going to say Ice shines in the single target loadout. Now, a single target hits very hard for one reason in particular, and that's mainly the Ice Elemental. All right. This is where Scrap of Soul Cloak comes in. You could use this for the AoE as well. As you can see, I also had it set up for AoE, but in single target, that's really when you want to use this build paired with the Ice Elemental Supercharge. All right. So what we're dealing with right now is Magma Vortex and Ice Bash. Clip these two together, get the might bonuses from Starfire. Then we have Heat Vision, Freezing Breath, which again you're going to use most of. Try to cut it off at the end. Get into Frost Snipe. Keep repeating this rotation until Omega Beams opens up. That's when you use Omega Beams and you start the whole thing over again. I'm not going to be using Supercharge in the rotation because I want to show you guys the raw damage. But just know, if you have this, definitely use it. All right? And if you have 10,000% Supercharge you're saving up, after you use this, make sure you copy your damage build to your Ice Elemental DPS build. So as you can see, it's exactly the same. Use Neo Venom Boost. You'll be putting out some insane damage paired with the other Supercharge. All right? So artifacts we're looking at. Pretty much the same ones, except the only difference is going to be E-bonds. We sub that out for Candle and Neuron. And allies are pretty much the same too. I have Crypto. He's great single target damage. All right. Well, let's get into it. All right, you guys get the idea. Let's take a look at the numbers. So, not too bad. Don't look at the last one there. I kind of cut it off at the end. But the numbers keep dipping really, really high. Get into the high 4 millions, staying mostly towards the high 3 millions. It's very, very nice. It puts out great damage. And if you pair this with Ice Elemental, you'll be putting out some insane stuff. Just some really, really great damage. I've been using this build for the last week. Been getting some great damage, usually on the top of the board in the most recent raid, and haven't had too much issues. All right, even with not maxed out artifacts, you still managed to get the job done. It's very, very good. That's about it. Let me know if you guys have any questions or comments. I'd love to hear them, whether you liked the build, whether you didn't. Any input is welcome. Thanks, you guys. Take care.